Hey everybody, ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef here with a forecast update because we're halfway through the storm cycle now, storm system I should say, but we're only halfway done and the heaviest stuff is still to come. So we've got heavy rain and heavy snow on the way for the Sierra, and it's going to add on to the rain and snow totals that we've already seen. First though, let's start with a look at radar in satellite because this is storm number 2 for us, and as it approaches the coast, you can see the rain starting to get picked up on radar. That's going to be heavy rain as it works its way through Northern California Sunday afternoon, evening, into the overnight Sunday into Monday. That continues at least in Northern California for the Monday morning commute as well. So this will be somewhat impactful. Even though the heaviest stuff falls while most of us are sleeping, roads will be wet, still rainy, and still windy as most of us are driving to work tomorrow morning. So let's jump into it now, and we'll start with totals. So the 24-hour snowfall reports Palisades, Tahoe, an additional 8 inches. The Sierra Snow Lab, 7.7 inches. Bear Valley and Sugar Bowl, 7 inches. Tahoe Donner, 6 inches. Mount Rose and North Star also picking up 6 inches. Sierra at Tahoe, 4 inches. And Kirkwood, 2 inches just over the last 24 hours. In terms of rainfall, this is over the last 48 hours to give us a better idea of the storm totals to this point. 1.46 inches, almost an inch and a half in Auburn, over an inch in Roseville, over an inch in Woodland, just over an inch in downtown Sacramento, just over an inch in Folsom, almost an inch Sacramento Executive. Davis seeing 9/10 of an inch. Modesto 3/4. Vacaville over half an inch. Stockton almost half an inch. So still the San Joaquin Valley kind of struggling to pick up some of the rain, whereas most of the rain has fallen right in and around the Sacramento metro area. But still expecting the heaviest rain and the highest totals. We'll likely add on about half an inch to an inch across the valley to the totals that we've already seen. So that'll bring storm total rainfalls close to 2 inches for most of the valley. Here's the timeline. Sunday morning, very scattered showers. We're going to be, tough to say mostly dry, but I think that's what it's going to be like through the rest of Sunday morning and the early afternoon, where it's going to be overcast, although we will have more breaks in the rain than what we're going to see later on today, because as we work into the afternoon hours, the rain starts to build back in, especially once we get towards about 3-4 o'clock. Flood watch begins as well, and then overnight tonight, the heaviest rain and snow. So from about 6 p.m. onwards is when that heavy rain really starts to move through the valley, and the heaviest stuff, as we'll see on Futurecast in a minute, likely happens while most of us are sleeping. But it's during this time where we'll see the highest chances of creeks flooding, streams flooding, and also some ponding on the roadways. So just be careful driving through standing water. Don't drive through flooded roadways. But if there's standing water, some puddles, some large puddles, that's what we call ponding on the roadways, be careful going through that. It can kick up a lot of water, and if you go too fast, you could hydroplane. You could also tear off a bumper if you're not careful. On Monday, scattered showers continue. The heavy stuff continues through the morning commute, but then after the morning commute, really starting about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, then it becomes more scattered. That continues through the afternoon, although we will become, again, kind of like Sunday morning. For Monday afternoon will be mostly dry with intervals of rain mixed in. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Hopefully this will make things a lot more clear here across Northern California. Sunday morning into the early afternoon, we are mostly dry with just some scattered stuff out there. Snow tapers off for a little bit, but more is on the way. So by 3-4 o'clock, you see that heavy rain start to make its way through the coastal range into the northern Sacramento Valley. By the time we get to 6, 7, 8 o'clock, that's when more steady showers develop. By 9, 10, 11 o'clock, the heavier rain begins to move in across the valley. Look at some of these colors as it comes in off the coast, seeing some orange and red colors there. Here's as it pushes into the overnight hours. We see those yellow and oranges now in the valley. Rainfall rates for a time could be about half an inch of rain per hour across parts of the valley, especially as you work your way north of Sacramento. The snow starts to pick up overnight yet again as well. And this means even though we may get a break in the snow this afternoon, we may see the chain controls get lifted, may be easier to travel. It's going to go the other way yet again overnight tonight, continuing through Monday morning. So now this is the Monday morning commute from about 5 to 7. It does taper off, but we're still going to have pockets of heavy rain out there. And look at the snow. Heavy snow continues in the Sierra with snow levels about 6,000 to 7,000 feet, somewhere in that range. They are looking a little lower than initially expected, which is good news. Looks to stay at and below pass level for the most part, instead of climbing up towards potentially 7,500 feet. That's no longer in the forecast. really expecting 6,000 to 7,000 foot snow levels, maybe hovering around 6,500 by the time the storm starts to wind down. So as we work our way later in the morning on Monday, snow continues, maybe starts to let up a little bit, but rain in the valley does taper off, becoming much more scattered. And then we just keep those scattered shower chances as we go Monday afternoon into the evening hours, and the snow tapers off as well. So Monday, the storm does wind down, but Sunday into Monday, that's the peak of the storm. This is storm number 2 with the heaviest rain, heaviest snow. For that reason, winter storm warning continues all the way into Monday at 10 p.m. Winter weather advisory on the east slope continues during that time frame as well. Here's model snowfall totals. I want to point something out here. Notice along I-80, we do get the higher snow totals. We're seeing about a foot of snow, about roughly, at Donner, maybe a little bit more, could be closer to about 18 inches. That's along I-80, but look at US 50. It's kind of in between some of the highest peaks here. So places like Twin Bridges, Kirkwood could pick up about a foot of snow, but along 50 itself, right on the highway, with the exception of near Echo, we might only see a few inches, less than maybe 6 inches across 50. Again, the exception might be Echo Summit, where we pick up about 6 inches of snow. But generally, we're not going to see a lot of accumulating snow on 50, not expected. We'll see a little, but not as much as what we're going to see along Interstate 80 there. And you saw snow totals generally still to come, about another foot above pass level. Flood watch kicks in Sunday afternoon and runs until Tuesday morning in the valley. We also have flood watches all the way to the coast, through the coastal ranges, all the way to the Pacific there. Looking at rainfall totals in the valley, again, this is still to come. We looked at the totals we had over the last 48 hours, and it's been about an inch across much of the Sacramento metro, closer to half an inch down in the San Joaquin Valley. So this is new rain still to come, not part of the totals yet. We're estimating about 1.2 in Sacramento, 1.4 Elk Grove, close to an inch, Woodland, Davis, couple inches up in Colusa. So higher totals expected in the northern Sacramento Valley. Makes sense. The rain gets there earlier, lasts longer as well. In the foothills, below the snow level, looking at another 2 inches of rain there. And in the San Joaquin Valley, half an inch to an inch of rain. So still a pretty good amount of rain to come. It's not going to create widespread flooding. We're not going to see major rivers overtopping their banks, but certainly some small creeks, some small streams, flood-prone areas. That's going to be what we're watching as we go through the duration of this storm. So just an example, the Sacramento River at I Street going to crest at about 16 feet, might even climb a little further than that as the week goes on, because water takes time getting where it's going, and the Sacramento drains the northern Sierra, right? So all the rain we get in the coastal ranges, all the rain we get in the Sierra, that's going to end up finding its way down into the Sacramento River, which flows out past the city of Sacramento. Of course, we all know that. That's why it's named Sacramento. So this may continue to climb, but notice it still stays about 10 feet or so below the monitor stage. So we're really not looking at flooding, widespread flooding. The Colusa Weir, the Tisdale Weirs are expected to flow in the Sacramento Valley, but we're not really going to see a lot of flooding on the major rivers. This is true for the Tuolumne. This is true for the San Joaquin, for the Cosumnes. They're going to rise by several feet, like what we see here at the Sacramento River downtown, but it's not going to be overtopping their banks. Again, it is really the local creeks, the smaller creeks, the streams, the flood-prone areas. That's what we're going to be watching for. Statewide precip since October 1st. Not all of the rainfall we've seen are factored into these numbers just yet, but notice Sacramento is minus 1.5. That's about how much rain we're expecting to see, maybe a little bit less than that. So this storm, if the forecast pans out as expected, could get us very, very close to where we should be for the water year. Look at Modesto, though. Now over half an inch to the good. Eureka has seen a lot of rain over the last several days, almost 2 inches to the good. But for everywhere else across California, really about an inch below where they should be. But we are getting rain this weekend and starting next week, so that's some good news. Drier weather is on the way, even likely some sunshine as well. It's been a while since we've seen sunshine across much northern California, just because of all the cloud cover and the storm systems we've had. But as we take as we take a look at the 10-day forecast here, once we get past this storm system today, tomorrow, Tuesday is drier, a few peaks of sunshine. Wednesday, we get clipped by a quick passing system, not super impactful, but it'll bring a little bit of rain and snow back to Northern California. But after that, we do dry out, high pressure builds in, temperatures start to climb quite a bit above average. We're going to go into the 60s, likely middle 60s for a couple days. Sunday, in particular, looks like a pretty good day to be outside. Might not even need that jacket for most of the day on Sunday, high temperature 65. But it does look like long term, beyond this, towards the start of February, models are still hinting that we're going to end up back in a cooler and wetter pattern as well. So the storm systems, the parade of storms, the atmospheric rivers, not necessarily done. February, on average, the second rainiest month behind January. So you'd expect that the rain continues before the wet season is over. ABC 10 Plus, you can get these in-depth forecasts there first. Weather specials, mega flood, water wasted, California drought. It's all there. Live, local, always on. You can watch it for free on the Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. Thanks for watching.